Everybody doing okay? Pat, not anything we need to make mention of or announce it? I know some men have signed up. How many do you think you'll need?
Well, it'd be nice to get
Hey, so we're halfway there. Halfway there. For the Ladies' Day, September the 8th. So, if you have questions, just see John Sue. It never fails. As soon as you start talking, everybody starts coming in. It is. So next week, what I'll do is I'll start talking about Ken Hill to see if they don't hear it. Because they're waiting to hear noise, I guess.
You started building, maybe people.
But not me, I need to do that. Just not 3 a.m. See, they're coming for all doors now. Look at there, just keep coming in. Next room, boys. Yeah, there you go. That room. Yes.
Now we should take your.
Till Sarah gets there. It'll be much later.
That's a lot of boys.
It's good to see everyone here, especially, we do have some visitors with us tonight. And, we went all the way to California one year, a few years ago on vacation. There's parts of it's almost like I won't say it's like a different country, it's almost like a different planet. So, we've got such diversity there. You got mountains, you got desert, you got ocean, you got everything. And so, from that standpoint, it's a beautiful place. I don't think I went to the area where you were from, but I know we did stop, went to church at, I think it was Victorville, California. And one of the elders had talked to me for a while. We was living in Texas at the time, Texarkana. He said, y'all probably get about as much rain in one rainstorm as we do in a whole year. I think he said they have about 5 inches, on average, a little less than 5 inches a year. And I said, yeah, we do sometimes. So, and, but it's good to have you here. Good to have you here. Enjoy your stay. I would assume, I have not seen the princess come in today. We're talking about the age of kings. Well, before we go on, is there anything we need to announce tonight that it's not in the bulletin or maybe an update on the bulletin? Well, that's good news, I guess, because sometimes things. I know Jean Rainey, when was it she was going to the surgery procedure on her eye? What was that? Friday. So keep her in your prayers that that goes well and as uneventful as possible. Second wave. It's good to be here. We're talking about the age of kings, and like I say, there's a certain, we romanticize, things about kings, and yet, a lot of times you get into the details, and it isn't quite what we think. Even, now it's kind of neat. A lot of places we see, like in England, the Queen of England, but yet, it's more of just a figurehead thing now. There's really no power associated with that. They are wealthy, but there's no, there's really nothing they can do in and of themselves. It's a little more figureheads. But, in the age of kings were, monarchs. They were dictators in essence. They had absolute rule. And so there's always a thing when you have a good king, things are good. When you have a bad king, things are bad. But there's definitely, sometimes we get disgruntled about the haves and the have-nots. But when you have things like kings and kingdoms, you really have a great disparity in those that have and those who do not have. But we're talking about, as we're getting into just the start, we're still that day of Judges. And, there was a reason that people wanted a king. Everybody else around them had kings, and there was no absolute rule as far as, laws and everything, other than the law of Moses, which had everything they needed. But as a result, people would start going away from that path. Judges 17:6 tells us in those days there was no king in Israel. Everyone did what was right in his own eyes. And so these are the times we're talking about, the times of Samuel as well. For Samuel is going to be the last judge of Israel. And what we see is, yes, indeed, there was no absolute rule. The judge would somewhat rule over people. He would basically carry out the way God would want things. He would deliver them. But he wasn't an absolute universal leader like a king would be. And so as a result, it wasn't quite the same as it would be when they would go to the age of kings. And so we kind of went through this. We talked about young Samuel. We talked about the worthless sons, Hophni and Phinehas. We've talked about that Samuel was special. He was not just only going to be a judge, but he was a prophet of God. And in a way that God talked directly to him. In a way that really is very unique. Not very many individuals have been privileged or blessed to have this type of relationship with God in this direct way. Basically, you can look at certain ones, and Moses indeed had a special relationship with God, where God spoke to him, and Abraham we know did, and Jacob had a few moments as well. But Moses did not have this type of relationship with God, where God would speak to them and tell them certain things. And Samuel apparently had this type of relationship, and it became known. And of course, we've just been talking and pleaded about Hophni and Phinehas. Now they mistakenly took the Ark of the Covenant in a way that it wasn't really meant to be used. When Israel was wondering, the Ark would be on transport anytime they was on the move. And so yes, indeed, the Ark of the Covenant would be before them. But here, they had already were already supposed to possess the land. They did, but they didn't completely drive out all the forces they should have. But as a result, we see that the ark was relegated to being in where the tabernacle was, but Hophni and Phinehas decided to take it, even though they were worthless men and really had no special ability with this. But last week, what we got to, if you recall, actually we got to this one here where Eli was a very old man, 98 years old, and he couldn't see well. And somebody had escaped the battlefield alive. And when he comes there running, and he tells them about that Hophni and Phinehas had died. And that had to be a shock to an older individual and to a father to hear your sons had died. But as we talked about, it probably wasn't as much a shock as we might would think, or at least we would have today, because why would Eli not have been shocked if they died at the same time? What had taken place before this?
Samuel had already told him that God had
Well, it wasn't Samuel, but it was the prophet of God.
The prophet of God had
I already told them that they would die on the same day. And so indeed, this did not come as a shock. Now, what the prophet didn't tell them about, though, was what would happen to the ark of God. And I think this is what was the final thing, where he fell over backwards in his chair and broke his neck. And he died. It says he judged Israel for 40 years, a long time. So he had been there a long time. Not only was he a judge, but he was also the high priest during his time there. And as such, the high priest, the thing that, the most important aspect of the high priest is the fact that Ark of the Covenant. And because only the high priest was allowed to go into the most holy place once a year. And so that was a special thing and something that the priesthood really, I don't know that there's anything we could equate today that would have that kind of value. It'd be like a soldier guarding some high valued asset and that to be taken. It would just totally, crush you that it was gone. And so, indeed, the Ark of God was gone. And that was their identity, Israel's. And so, it wouldn't just be Eli that would be mourning that change. And so as we go on to read and continue that 1 Samuel 4, verse 19, it says, now his daughter-in-law, the wife of Phinehas, was pregnant, about to give birth. And when she heard the news of the ark of God was captured and that her father-in-law and her husband were dead, she bowed and gave birth, for her pains came upon her. What an untimely time to give birth. And so it says, and about the time of her death, the women attended to her said, do not be afraid, for you bore a son. Which in that day and age was exciting news. But she did not answer or pay attention, and she named the child Ichabod, saying, the glory has departed from Israel, because the ark of God has been captured, and because of her father-in-law and her husband. He said, the glory has departed from Israel, for the ark of God has been captured. How many of you have ever known someone named Ichabod? Well, yes, of course, that is a fictional account. There is no such thing as a headless horseman. That is not real thing. But even in that, you could see maybe the writer, Washington Irving, is writing that, and to the Greek, is Ichabod really a prominent, strong guy? Is he someone of valor? And he's not. And so maybe he used that name play on this. But anyone know anybody called Ichabod? Why do you think no one named the child Ichabod? Huh? Oh, that don't bother people today. They spell how they want to. Names are spelled, it's kind of the fun thing now is see how different you can spell a child's name sometimes now. So I don't know if that really bothers you. But why do you think Ichabod's not in his name? Why do you think no one names their daughters Jezebel? The association. Well, what does Ichabod mean? And a lot of times, people may go to the meaning of the word, So some names, mean something, really nice, beautiful, whatever. What does the name Ichabod mean? The glory has departed. Well, who wants to name their child the glory has departed, in essence? So you can see that's not the thing. Now, his mom named him in the pit of sorrow as the ark was taken away. And by the way, it's going to be gone for a long time. It's a little hard to really gather to degree exactly how long, but it was a long time. It was at least 20 years. It may have been even longer before it was actually returned, really where it should be. But anyway, so the glory is departed. And so Ichabod is his name. And like I say, that's about the only person I know that was actually named Ichabod. And my guess is you're not going to get a lot of Ichabods. That's just not a thing, especially if you know what the name means. If someone's going to name the child Ichabod, they probably don't have a clue what the name is. And so you may get a few to do that now, but for the most part, you're going to stay away from that name. And rightfully so. The glorious part. Let's see how long this time. Map that shows, and kind of a good review of where we're at. If you remember the tabernacle, sometimes they'll use the word temple, but it was the tabernacle. It wasn't a permanent structure. But the tabernacle was housed in Shiloh. That's where the Ark of the Covenant stayed. That's where Eli, the high priest, lived. And of course, it's where Hophni and Phinehas lived. And of course, you remember the Philistines were Napheg, and the Israelites were Nebuchadnezzar, and they went to battle. And the battle wasn't going good for the Israelites, and so they went back. Hophni and Phinehas thought it would be a great idea. They go get the Ark of the Covenant and take it with them. And so what happens? Well, they were defeated, they were killed in battle, and so was several, I think it's 30,000 or so. And so they took the Ark of the Covenant with them. And this was a big deal, the Philistines, by the way. They had heard of the stories, had they not, of what took place in Egypt. Even though it had been many hundred years, that was such an eventful moment in history that they knew about it. And so they knew what this thing was, so that was a big deal. It'd be kind of like, I don't know that we have mischief like that as much as we used to, but, when you used to have big rivalries in sports and stuff, it'd be like, taking, I guess for them, it'd be like taking the head of the mascot of the Bearcat mascot, and to have that in your, maybe to steal it, put it in your high school or something like that, people would be like, here what we got. And of course, that's travel these days, but you used to see a lot of stuff like that. People would take certain things or do certain things like that. And so you can see how much of a thing. In fact, it was a thing that was common practice. If you defeated someone in a battle, if you gained something that was prized to them, you would put it, where do you think you'd put it? You wouldn't hide it. No. That's the point is,
Keep it out so everybody can see it.
okay? And what was the biggest place you could put things? Well, they put it in the temples of their gods. Okay? And so we're going to see that that's what the Philistines are going to do. Because they think it's just some knick-knack, some things, it's prized, but yet, they don't really believe in God, not in that sense. And so, one God's as good as another God in their eyes. And so they're going to put it, and so they're going to take it from Ebenezer, where the battle takes place, they're going to go down to Ashdod, which has one of their big temples to their god Dagon. And so we're going to see how that works out. And so it says in 1 Samuel 5, it says, when the Philistines captured the ark of God, they brought it from Ebenezer to Ashdod. Then the Philistines took the ark of God and brought it to the house of Dagon and set it up beside Dagon. And when the people of Ashdod arose early the next day, behold, Dagon had fallen face downward on the ground before the ark of the Lord. So they took Dagon and put it back in its place. Now, what do you think they think it happened probably just after this one time? Accident. Yeah, it just fell down. Of course, so they immediately picked it up, put it back up in its place. Probably didn't think twice about it. But when they rose early the next morning, behold, Dagon had fallen face downward on the ground, the ark of the Lord, and the head of Dagon and both his hands were lying cut off on the threshold. On the trunk of Dagon was left to him. This is why the priests of Dagon and all who enter the house of Dagon do not threshold of Dagon in Ashdod to this day. Now, you'll see this a lot of times, especially in the Old Testament, where it'll say something like to this day. What does the to this day mean? Does it mean people over there now, they have a temple to Dagon and they still do this to this day? Is that what it means? When it was written. Okay, so who was the writer? A lot of people believe it may have been Samuel that wrote this. But whenever the writer wrote these words, it was still a practice. And my understanding is it became a practice not just this temple, but any temple of Dagon, that basically what they would do is they would kind of hop and jump over the threshold. It became like a superstition because it was such a traumatic experience you can imagine for these priests of Dagon to see their God just mutilated, decapitated, and arms taken off and everything, just lying in a shambles. Well, so what do you think they think now? They come in the second day, and not only is he down, but his head's cut off, arms cut off, and laying in the threshold. Must
have thought something was going on.
Yeah, but what was different to the circumstances? What was different that they had introduced to this temple? The ark was there. So, one day, maybe it's just a coincidence. 2 days, especially the more severity of it, they knew something was up. And so it says that, and it wasn't just this. It says the hand of the Lord was heavy against the people of Ashdod, and he terrified and afflicted them with tumors, both Ashdod and its territory. Let me ask you something. Why did God do these things to these people of Ashdod? What was the big deal? They weren't even Israelites. Okay. Where was the ark supposed to be? And this is something we need to bear in mind as we continue reading the discourse of the journey of the ark. Where was the ark supposed to be? Okay. Who was supposed to take care of it? Okay, Levites had a general responsibility to take care of it. The priests, had a certain duty as well. And so, basically, if there's anything that's not done in that right, it's not the way God has instructed. And this indeed was an important thing. It wasn't just a knick-knack. And so then in verse 8 it said, in verse 7 it says, and when the men of Ashdod saw how things were, they said, the ark of God of Israel must not remain with us, for his hand is hard against us and against Dagon our God. Ain't that interesting? That they realized that there was something about this God of Israel that was totally unique. But they weren't willing to go and leave their beliefs and their own God with them.
That one was laid down with its arm, and all.
Yeah, isn't that the way things are? People, they may even accept the beauty of God's creation. They may accept God in some ways, but yet they're not willing to leave behind their little gods. It means I've got to leave behind, the way I live, and we've got to leave behind the things I love to devote myself to. It's not worth it. It's the way most people will do it. And so even though these people should have said, we need to submit to this God. This is the true God. Instead, they just want to get rid of the true God. And you know how so many are. They just don't want any part of God. And, it's going to do them, cause them to not live the way they want to live. So they sent and gathered together all the lords of the Philistines and said, what shall we do with the ark of God of Israel? They answered, let the ark of the God of Israel be brought around to Gath, different city. So they brought the ark of the God of Israel there. So maybe people of Gath wanted it. Maybe they thought it would be prestigious. Maybe it would be good for tourism. I don't know. But they said, let's take it down to Gath, another city of Philistia. And so we see the continued, and you see it was at Ashdod. It went from Ebenezer to Ashdod. Movement 3, now it's going from Ashdod to Gath. Further on down. What do you think's going to happen there? And so in verse 9 it says, but after they had brought it around, the hand of the Lord was against the city, causing a great panic. And he afflicted the men of the city, both young and old, so that tumors broke out on them. So they sent the ark of God to Ekron. But as soon as the ark of God came to Ekron, the people of Ekron cried out, they have brought around us the ark of God of Israel to kill us and our people. They sent therefore and gathered together the lords of the Philistines and said, send away the ark of God of Israel and let it return to its own place, that it may not kill us and our people. For there was a deathly panic around the whole city. The hand of God was very heavy there. The men who did not die were struck with tumors, and the cry of the city went up to heaven. So it doesn't matter where they take it in the land of the Philistines, it was causing severe problems. And toward the evening, it was starting to kill people. People were dying, and the ones that did die had these severe tumors. And so they send it back. Well, I ain't going to send it back. They took it in battle. And so, you have to understand from their mentality. Their mentality is, it's a God just like any other God. And by the way, they are probably thinking of this ark as a God, you might say. That's how they thought of God. And so, you can't just, you've got to appease a God, God may be mad at us. And so in verse 1, chapter 6 says, the ark of the Lord was in the country of the Philistines 7 months. And the Philistines called for the priests. They should know things like this. And the diviners and said, what shall we do with the ark of the Lord? Tell us with what we shall send it to its place. They said, if you send away the ark of God of Israel, do not send it empty. Don't be mad, so you got to send it something. But by all means, return him a guilt offering. Then you will be healed, and it will be known to you why it is away from you. And they said, what is the guilt offering we shall return? They said, 5 golden tumors and 5 golden mice, according to the number of the lords of Philistines, for the same plague was on all of you and your lords. By the way, this doesn't really do a whole lot for them. They do get rid of the ark of the Lord, so they don't get the tumors and things like this. But indeed, they're not blessed by this nature. Is this really the way God wanted people to worship Him and serve Him? But in their minds, this would be good. God's good. Everybody's God. Maybe they were mistaken. The fact is, the Ark of God, it was plated with gold, so maybe thought, well, gold would be good. I don't know. But anyway, it says, they got some interesting ways to do it. It says, so you must make images of your tumors and images of your mice that grab your land, and give glory to God of Israel. Perhaps he will lighten his hand from off you and from your gods in the land. Why should you? Now, I love this. It shows how much they knew about what took place in Egypt. Listen to this. It says, why should you harden your hearts as the Egyptians and Pharaoh hardened their hearts after he had dealt severely with them? Did they not send the people away and they departed? So in other words, why should we go through 10 plagues like they did in Egypt before they finally said, get out of here? Said, let's just send it back. Let's get rid of it. And let's not deal with this. This is beyond what we want to deal with. But I find it interesting that they knew about what took place in Egypt. Now then, take and prepare a new cart. We're going to come back to this, by the way, because who ultimately takes the Ark of the Covenant and puts it in a proper place? Take the city of Jerusalem, the city that God had chosen. Who ultimately winds up doing that? Now fast forward a while, but who ultimately says, that ark needs to be in Jerusalem, where God has said it's going to be my city?
King David.
King David. How did it go his first time? Not so well. He probably thought, hey, this is what the Philistines did. Because you look here, it says they prepared a new ark. So that's what David's going to do when we fast forward that. Do that point. Anyway, new cart, 2 milk cows, on which there has never come a yoke, and yoke the cows to the cart, but take their cows home away from it. Very strange, this idea they come up with. It says, and take the ark of the Lord and place it on the cart and put it in a box at its side of figures of gold, at which you return to him as good offering. Then send it off and let it go its way. And watch. If it goes up on its way to its own land, to Beth Shemesh, then it is he who has done us this great harm. But if not, then we shall know that it is not the hand that struck us. It happened to us by coincidence. Now, I find this fascinating, that all this could just be just by luck that these things have been happening to them, But anyway, they create this circumstance, they're basically giving a test to God, you might say. They take cows that have never been yoked. Why do you think they take cows that have never been yoked? Have any of y'all ever used an animal to plow a field? We lived in a place where we rented a house, and Uncle Butler, he had some ewes. And he had one that was really good. And my dad wanted to plant a garden, a pretty good garden, right? Good size. And he said, sure. He said, can I borrow your mule to, it seemed, that thing could fly. He said, can I borrow your mule? And so my dad, hitched up the mule, and that thing went moving. I think it reached to sit down on it, just like nothing. And so my dad called Mr. Butler and said, I can't do that. I said, oh, he just hold on. And so he just told the mule. And it was like, mule didn't need my dad at all once it took off. It was just like it knew exactly what to do. It had done it so many times, it just knew what it should do, where it should go. So what do you think, with knowing that, knowing how, animals that are experienced in doing this, being yoked and having to pull things and everything, what do you think, maybe some of you ever been someplace where they have, where you can ride horses on trails? Ever done that? And those horses, it's like they know exactly where they're going, don't they? You don't really have to guide them all that much, they know exactly. So what do you think, with knowing those things, why do you think they took 2 cows that had never been yoked?
What done those cows did have their plan.
Right. They'd be a complete independent test in their eyes. They wouldn't have a clue where to go. They hadn't been pre-programmed or conditioned to go certain places. And so it's just it's a true valid experiment, at least in their eyes, the way they think. And so if it goes to this Bathsheba, that was basically about the first town you could come to that was Israel. It was, I believe, in the tribe of Judah, but just barely in Israel, away from what the Philistines had their possession. And so this would be their test. So the men did so and took 2 milk cows, yoked them in the cart, shut up their cows at home, and they put, by the way, why they do the cows? Well, obviously, if they sent cows, they would try to stay close to the cows. And they put the ark of the Lord on the cart and the box, the golden mice, the images, and with the tumors. And the cows went straight in the direction of Bethshemesh along one highway, lowing as they went. They turned neither to the right nor the left, and the lords of the Philistines went after them as far as the border of Bethshemesh. Now the people of Bethshemesh were reaping their wheat harvest in the valley, and they lifted up their eyes, and they saw the ark and rejoiced. Can you imagine what an unusual sight that was? To see this ornately, gold laden. I mean, people probably lived out in the, rural areas. They probably didn't see a lot of gold to begin with. And to see this fancy Ark of the Covenant, it'd be no mistake what it was, on this cart, this brand new fancy cart, pulled by 2 milk cows. And they wouldn't know exactly what it was, even though they talked to someone, maybe they'd never even seen it before. But anyway, they knew exactly what it was, and they rejoiced. Then the cart came to the field of Joshua of Bethshemesh, and he stopped there, and a great stone was there, and they split up the wood of the cart and offered the cows as a burnt offering to the Lord. Poor old cows, you might say, but anyway. And the Levites took down the ark. Levites, hey, we're getting better here. Took down the ark of the Lord, and the box was upon beside it, in which the golden figures, and they set there the great stone. The men of Bethshemesh offered burnt offerings and sacrifice on that day to the Lord. And when the fathers of the Philistines saw it, they returned to the day to give burnt. We're done with the Philistines involved. It's now back in the land of Israel. And the Levites took the cart down, they offered sacrifice. Sounds like we're in a better situation, right? Do you think God's happy? Of course, it talks about the reason they did the 5 golden things was for the cities of Philistia, Ashdod, Gaza, Ascalon, and Gath, and Ekron. But anyway, see this. So now we're in Beth-Shemesh. It says he struck some of the men of Beth-Shemesh. By the way, there's a number of some of the translations we give. And most scholars believe that is actually a corrupted number. I think it says something like 50,070 or something like that. That's what some of the manuscripts say. And basically that count was nowhere near that big. Some believe it may have been 70, but English Standard just kind of took the notions of the sons, because don't probably know what that real number was. But it says, and he struck some of the men of Bethshemesh because they looked upon the ark of the Lord. He struck 70 men of them, the people mourned because the Lord had struck people with great blow. Then the men of Bethshemesh says, who is able to stand before the Lord? Is this holy God? And who shall go up from us? So they sent messengers to the inhabitants of Kiriath Jearim, saying, the Philistines have returned the ark of the Lord. Come down and take it up to you. Why did God strike down some of the men, or the men here of Bethshemesh?
Just a little bit curious.
A little too curious.
Just like a circus kind of thing.
Yes, okay. How did the Philistines view this, as we've said already? Did they separate God from the ark itself? They saw it just like an idol, didn't they? So what did the people start viewing it as? I don't know, it was a thing. And yet that wasn't what it's supposed to be. In fact, was everybody supposed to be able to see the Ark of the Covenant? No, it was supposed to be behind the veil, the Holy of Holies, and on the ark, the high priest could see it once a year. So we see it still wasn't, they weren't doing it the right way. So anyway, our time is up. Appreciate everyone being here. Any questions or comments? By the way, before I quit, anybody want to volunteer to teach 2 weeks? Not everybody fight for it now. Well, we'll let that marinate for a while. There you go. Yeah, but you don't talk to yourself, at least not in public, at least you wrong idea.
Welcome back. We're glad to have you. We do have a couple of visitors, Will and Jane. Stick around after the service, let us get to know you a little bit. We appreciate you being here very much. It's time to begin our devotional period. Just a quick update on what I know. Jill Godfrey is home. She's doing okay. We went and seen her yesterday. Still really weak, but she is out of the hospital and doing better. Is there any other updates that we need to be aware of as far as our prayer list?
Joanne was feeling something.
Oh, Joanne Murray, yes, she is feeling a little bit better. She's still hospitalized, but she is feeling.
Mary Murray was doing great.
Mary Murray's doing very good.
Reports from the lymph nodes. I think she's calm too.
Good, that's glad, that's good to hear that. I like it when it's all, good news. That's always good. Lizzie Bradshaw said her birthday, I don't know where she's at.
She stays in her spot.
Oh, that's next week sometime. She'll be 11. She'll be 11 on the 11th.
Well,
12 on the 11th. Well, happy birthday. Okay, I've asked Rick Scott to word our opening prayer, Kevin Rice to word our closing prayer. Richard Borsman has the devotional tonight. Kenneth Massey will lead us in song. We're going to go ahead, if you would, everyone go ahead and stand, we're going to have the opening prayer first.
Father in heaven, thank you for this time to come together and to take a moment to study your word and to hear words of encouragement. Thank you, Father, as we consider all of those that's been on the prayer list, those that have been ill and struggling through surgeries, and we thank you for the good news that we receive from those that we know are acquaintances. We continue to pray for those of our number here in the family that continue to be well and be strengthened. But ask your blessings upon our congregation and the efforts that we make to spread your gospel and to help others. Help us, Father, to see the opportunities that you send our way. Help us always to do the most good that we can. But ask you, Father, to be with Richard as he brings us words of encouragement tonight. Be with Kenneth as he leads us in our singing. And continue with us through this week. We also pray for young people as they begin to prepare for return to school, for college-age students as they prepare to go to school and return to classes as well. Keep them all safe and may they look for guidance each day as we go about our life. May we know that you're with us and that your spirit is with us. For all these things we ask in Jesus' name.
Please be seated. Move away and mark your songs to number 939. Number 939, no why not tonight. You sing that after you go listen. Then turn to number 2. We're going to sing number 2, 3, and 4. We're going to sing from that. I wanted to sing number 2 and number 3, and I thought I would sing all. If Will will sing the ones that have the dots by the verses that have the little dots. So we'll start with number 2. We praise thee, O God, for the Son of thy love, for Jesus who died and is now gone above. Hallelujah, thine the glory. Hallelujah, amen. Hallelujah, thine the Son, and give him the glory. Great things he hath done. Great things he hath taught us. Great things he hath done. And great our rejoicing through Jesus the Son. But purer and higher and greater will be our wonder, our transport, when Jesus we see. Praise the Lord, praise the Lord, let the earth hear his voice. Praise the Lord, let the people rejoice. Oh, come to the Father through Jesus the Son, and give him the glory. Great things he hath done.
You might have heard the expression, they're making mountains out of molehills. Well, you know that's not literal. We didn't take a little mound of dirt that's been pushed up and all pushed your way to the ground and make a little mountain out of it, a magazine mountain. But what is the meaning that's conveyed with that expression?
Think that's bigger than it is.
Okay, it means that they're placing a lot more significance on something than what it should be. A lot more significance on what event happened or what somebody said or whatever is getting way too much significance. Well, I don't hear that expression a lot anymore. The terminology may be a little bit obsolete, but the practice has not died off. We're still seeing people putting a lot of significance on things that in a day or two will be forgotten. But does this ever happen in the religious realm? Do we ever make mountains out of molehills about religious things? I think we're guilty of that sometimes. And I just want to mention a few of these things, and we won't go into a great lot of detail. But just remember that there are many things that are important, but should not be emphasized or elevated above what importance they should have. Now, just for example, have you ever heard anyone say, speaking of religion, Christianity, or a way of life, you ever heard anyone say, well, it's all about love? That's all that matters. Nothing but love. Or maybe you heard someone say, or at least you got that impression that they were saying that it's all about grace. Nothing matters but grace. No, someone else said it. It's all about believing. Just believe. And you'll be saved, everything will be all right. Someone else said, well, it's really not all this stuff. It's all about being a good person. Just be a good person. And that's all we need to worry about religiously. No, it's all about what you do, and that's maybe related. But it's all about the good things that you do. Helping to feed the hungry, etc., and so on and so forth. Always be involved in helping people. That's what it's all about. Just doing good deeds and helping out. Well, and it's true that in 1 Corinthians, the Bible does say we will be judged according to our deeds. So, no, it's all about keeping selected commandments. I'll just pick up one. But here's the ones that are really important. Sometimes we notice people get the idea and even voice the words, well, as long as I come to church once a week, and take the Lord's Supper, that's all I need to worry about. It's all about baptism. I've been baptized, and that's really all that matters. I'm gonna be all right. It's all about sincerity. It doesn't matter what you believe, as long as you are sincere. Are all of these things important? Is sincerity important? I think everything that we've mentioned so far has an important place. But should we take one or two of these and elevate them above everything else? Like the mountain stands above the molehill? These things are all important, and 100 others we could mention. But there are a lot of things that we should observe as being important, and we should give them significance. But we need to be careful when we take one or two good, godly principles and just raise them above everything else that the Bible says. When we become too focused on just one or two aspects of Christianity and consider just one or two things to be important, then we will not understand these things in harmony with each other, that they are equally important. That is one of the principles of arriving and understanding what the truth is. When we study the Bible, as we study the Scriptures, hopefully at least we are searching for the truth. But if we get focused on just one or two things, good things in the Bible, then our understanding of that one or two things may be out of harmony with many other things in the Scripture. There is a principle that I think is very important. If we notice, we'll say two scriptures, two different passages of Scripture in the Bible, and we think there is a lack of harmony, we see that there is tension between them, and we look at them as sort of conflicts, may you be assured that the problem is not with the Scriptures. The problem is that we have misunderstood either one or both of those two verses. As long as we do not see them in harmony, then our understanding is lacking. Is that a little bit challenging sometimes? Yes. It is a little challenging sometimes. But nonetheless, it is true. So let's just focus on the thought tonight that as we study the Scriptures, we need to take a balanced view. We don't need to just take a passage or a precept or a concept here and raise it above the other. We need to keep a balanced view as we study the Scriptures and strive for that sense of harmony about everything we find in the Scriptures. That if we understand it properly, it all fits in its place. It's all in harmony. It's just like that jigsaw puzzle. When you get all the pieces in place, then it's fit and it's a whole, we might say, beautiful picture perhaps. So let's strive for balance as we search for the truth, and it will aid us in our journey. I suppose every time we assemble, we make it a point to make a special opportunity if someone has special requests, special needs, that we might be able to help with in the way of public prayers or further study or time, just to let that be known. If you have a need that you think we should be dealt with in a public way, please let us know. If we stand to sing, that's fine. Oh, do not let the word be far.